Hi, I'm Miss Luong and welcome to Online Pre-Calculus 40S. So this is an online course. It's very intensive and it's also pre-cal, so do expect to stay on top of things, study as hard as you can, ask a lot of questions, and then we'll make it through the end. So I'm going to show you around a bit of the platform we're going to use. I'm going to talk about myself a little bit as well so you can get to know me. Now, we should have been sent a link onto the OneNote. We're going to do majority of our coursework on here in terms of notes, course information, exam information, and all that. I will start a Microsoft Teams very soon, so it'll be easier for you to contact me because you can contact through chat and even do some webcam conversations as well if you need one-on-one personal help. So before we even go to the course outline, I'm going to talk about myself a bit so you have an idea of who I am. I am a Winnipegger, born and raised. So I actually went to J.H. Bruns Collegiate and graduated in 2012. I love math. I think that's pretty obvious, being that I'm a math teacher. I love baking. And I've been baked in a little bit because I've been kind of watching what I eat. But this is one of my best cakes that I've ever made. It was an Oreo cake, cookies and cream in there as well. It was really good. I love to travel. I like to travel at least 2 times a year. Last year I've been to New York City, Mexico and Cabo, been to Brazil. And this year I'm going to be in Jamaica in March because I'm getting married there as a destination wedding. So soon you're going to be calling me Mrs. Lancaster instead of Miss Luong. That's after spring break. Although I'm watching what I eat, I am a foodie at heart. So on the weekend, I do like to go out to eat and check out some cool restaurants around the Winnipeg area. I used to be a competitive bodybuilding athlete, but I still do a lot of workouts and a very consistent diet and training just because I like it. And I usually go like 4 times a week to a gym. I also know how to play piano and guitar. I was a music buff back in high school, and then I transitioned into the math life. I also don't really know how to swim very well. I've been trying to learn, and I've done some snorkeling without a life jacket. So I'm getting there, but I'm definitely not confident in it yet. And lastly, I really dislike country music. I dislike pop and rap. So that's a bit about me, and all this information is on my website. So you're going to find information about your course on this website as well. It's called mathwithluong.weebly.com. This will be on your course outline. Just take a note of it because you will watch videos on here. And this is where all the lecture videos are going to be posted. So if you go under courses and you're in grade 12 pre-cal, so you're going to go under there. I already have a few tabs, but the first unit we're going to go through is polynomials. And this is where all the polynomial videos are going to be posted in sequence order as video 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I will also have all the information on the OneNote as well. So this is one of the main platforms, and you're going to watch your videos on here. The other one that you're going to use a lot is this OneNote. So course outline is already up on here, and you can take a read through everything. We have 8 units to cover. It is a very intense course, so make sure you are watching the lecture video whenever it's posted. So it's usually 1 a day. Your provincial exams June 9th. And then you also need a scientific calculator for this course. You only use it for 45 minutes on the provincial exam, and most of the time you will be not using a calculator, but you do need a calculator in some questions. So our breakdown is 30% for the final exam. Your unit tests are 50%. Those are written in your school. I will send it to your student services teacher, and they will administer that with you during your spare. And then online homework, you just submit that to me, and assignments. So my expectations for you is to check OneNote frequently and also check Teams as well once that is up, because that would be a way for you to communicate with me. I want you to for sure communicate with me frequently about any questions you have about the course. in general, because you can contact me through email or set up a time that we can even do a webcam cast, or I can show you some live videos of me doing a math question if you have a question. Always make sure you're watching the videos, like I said, whenever they're posted. And if I assign some homework, please do them. And when I say do them, I mean do them all if you can. The more practice, the better. I will tell you when your test dates are and also your assignments when they'll be due. Each unit will have an outline. I'm going to show you about the timeline for each of the units in just a moment. Make sure you complete the assignments on time, and if you can't, then please email me to let me know and we can arrange another date. And that's it. I mentioned everything there. So the first step you're going to do after you watch this video is sign up for the online homework. All the information is here. This is the website you're going to go to. And then yes, just read all through this, and then I have the course code at the very bottom. PMA40S is your class code, and you're going to select Arts and Tech Center. And you're going to do all your homework basically on here. I may have a few worksheets for you that are hard copy, but you're going to do a lot of the homework on here as well, usually unit review. Okay, so in your unit, so we're going to work on polynomials first, and each unit is going to be organized the same way. You're going to have a daily schedule. So this daily schedule says February 3rd, watch this intro video, and you're going to sign up for the online homework. You're going to do the factoring review from grade 11, and then I have also extra factoring sheets that can be found in your homework folder as well. So that's your first thing, and then I will type in February 4th, and then I will sign something there as well, and you have to read that. That'll be your task for that day. And then all your course notes are going to be found in here as well. So this is a whole note package on polynomials. I really suggest you print it out somewhere, and then I'm going to write in my OneNote your notes in here, and then you're just going to copy it down. And again, this will be in the lecture videos. So when in the lecture videos, I'm going to explain all these questions and answer them fully. Before we learn the new pre-cal stuff, we're going to focus on the basics. So we're going to focus on factoring as our review because we do need this skill in order to move on. So when you're factoring, there's some basic things you need to think about. The first thing is there anything in common between these terms first? Because you may need to factor out a number before you even go on, or even a variable. The second thing is this a trinomial? Because if it's a trinomial, there are usually two methods in doing this, which is factoring your basic method, where you start off x plus or minus a number times x plus or minus a number, or you may have to do a different method because there is a number in the front, just like this one, or like this one. Okay, so we're just going to start off with A, and we're going to see if there's anything in common between 2x squared and 4x. And if we think about that, well, yes, I could probably factor 2 because one has a coefficient of 2 and the other one has one of 4. And I can also factor out an x because there's x's in each term. So we're going to factor out a 2x. And then when we do that, to find out what's inside this bracket here, we're essentially dividing each term by 2x, and whatever you get left over is what we're putting inside this bracket here. So that means we have x left over because 2x squared divided by 2x is just x, and then 4x divided by 2x is just 2. So that is our answer there, 2x times x plus 2. Let's try B. Now, there's nothing in common between these three terms, so we're just going to have to factor it as our standard factoring technique. So I usually start out by just writing out the format because I know it has to have two sets of brackets and it needs to start with an x, because we also start with an x squared here. The second thing I'm going to do is look at our last term and look at the factors of 8. So 8 has factors 4 and 2. And then I'm trying to recreate this number here, negative 2. So with 4 and 2, which are factors of 8, can I create a negative 2? We can if we had a -4 plus 2, because -4 plus 2 is -2, and 4 and 2 is a factor, or factors of 8. So this is your final answer. And you can also double check to make sure you got this right by expanding again. And if you expand it again, and if you do this on the side, you will see that you'll get back B. Okay, we can try C now. So again, the first thing we want to do is see if there's anything in common between the three terms. It looks like we could possibly take out a -4. And then when we do that, we're left with t squared plus 4t minus 32. Again, if you forgot how to get this inside bracket part, because we're factoring out -4, we'll just divide each term by -4 to get what's inside the bracket here. Then our next step is to factor this t squared plus 4t minus 32. And it'll be the same method as B. So I just set it up accordingly. Now I think about factors of 32, which are 8 and 4. And with 8 and 4, I can create a 4 by having positive 8 minus 4. Because 8 minus 4 is 4, and 8 times -4 is -32. Let's try D. Now let's see if we have anything common between these three terms. We have a 3, a -13, and a -10. So nothing with coefficients. And we don't have x's in each term either. So then we have to use a different method. Now I know teachers have different methods in doing this. I'm going to show you the box method. It's a very simple process to use. But you do need to remember how to use a process. So I'm going to think about factors of 3. And there's only one set of factors for 3, which is 3 and 1. So I'm going to write them at the top like this. And below it, I'm going to write factors of 10. Now, it does take some trial and error sometimes, but if you do this enough, you know exactly which ones to pick and which order to pick it in. So I'm going to use 5 and 2 for my factors of 10. And I'm going to arrange them like so. So just in some order underneath. Now, I'm going to multiply them diagonally, and I'm going to write the numbers down here. So if I multiply 3 and 5, I'm going to get 15. If I multiply 1 and 2, I'm going to get 2. Now, I'm going to think about, can I create a -13 with 15 and 2? Yes, if I had a -15 and a positive 2. -15 plus 2 is -13. And this neg is going to reflect just right above it. And this positive just above it. So this is what I'm going to put inside each bracket. That's one set of brackets. And that's the other set of brackets. So this is equal to 3x plus 2. So notice the order. The top number has an x associated with it. And this is just a constant by itself. Then this will be x minus 5. And that would be our final answer. If you have a different method, feel free to use it as long as you can get the same answer. For E, we're going to do the same sort of thing. Look for common factors between the three terms, and in this case, there are none. Now, when I think about factors of 4, I can use 4 and 1 or 2 and 2. So in this case, I'm just going to use 2 and 2. For 9, the factors of 9 are 3 and 3, so it doesn't really matter which order I put it in. So we're going to cross multiply it, or multiply diagonally. So 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 3 is 6. You can create a positive 12 as long as both of them are positive. So this is what we're putting in our brackets. 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3, or you can say 2x plus 3 squared. Now understand with this method, it is trial and error, because if you pick 4 and 1 and then 3 and 3, it may not work out with the numbers you have down here. So you're just going to have to try again and again to see what order you're going to put in and also which numbers you're going to put down. But again, once you do it enough, it's just intuitive. You just know which ones to pick. Okay, and then the last one is F, the difference of squares. So 81 is a perfect square, and 49 is also a perfect square. We know the format has to look like this. We have a variable minus plus or minus a number, variable plus or minus a number. Now let's look at the first number. We know that if we square root 81, that's going to be 9. So we're going to have 9 in the first term for both of them. And we also need an m, because that's our variable. So now 9m times 9m is 81m squared. Now let's look at the second term. This is also a perfect square. The square root of 49 is 7. And we need to get a negative 49. So that the only way to get a negative is if we have a positive times a negative to get a negative 49. Now, if you have a positive and a negative, with your difference of squares, your middle term is going to cancel out. So that means we're going to get 81m squared, and then this 9m times negative 7 will cancel out with the 7 times 9m. And you're just left with negative 49. So you can even expand this to check our work. And that's all we're going to do for the factoring review. Please check to see what homework will be assigned.